going to talk about the data platform architecture. Now over here we are going to discuss about the Azure architecture, end-to-end data implementation. So this is our executive summary which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the solution architecture which you're going to design. This solution architecture which you're going to design will be a kind of a unified platform. Now when I say it's a unified platform, it means that we can use to meet the common requirements. It can have a kind of traditional data pipelines. It can have your traditional database, and then you can create your big data platforms. You can integrate that into your Azure HDI inside, and then you can have your unstructured and semi-structured data. Now when I talk about this unstructured and semi-structured data, we have a kind of different tutorial video for that, so please go and follow that. Now in this architecture we have created a Google Analytics. We have done the trigger with the Jira, and then we have an insight for the data driven application. So this is the architecture which we are going to discuss, and also it has a kind of Lambda architecture. Now that Lambda architecture is good for your streaming platform. So this is what we are going to talk about, and let me just quickly start with the architecture. Now this architecture had a kind of a, you can see like how we're trying to load the data. Now you can load the data from the different streaming platform. We have a velocity, veracity, IoT devices. We can have a non-structured data. That's a variety of the data. We can load the images. We can download the audio, the free audios and all those things are there. So we can also take care of that. Now also you have the semi-structure. Semi-structure are like we have the CSV tags and all those things, the JSON XML files. That's a kind of a loosely typed data, and that you can also ingest, and then you can also have your relational databases. So this is a kind of your database platform I'm talking about. You can connect all your databases, and you can connect all your databases, and then you can use it. I was talking about this is your different kind of databases you have, so you can do that. All right, now coming to the so now you can load the data in this is your load and ingest platform. You can have the event hubs. You can create your Azure event hubs over here, and then you can have your kind of a data factory where you can do all kind of ETL transformations all. So event hub is mostly for your kind of IoT devices and all, like you have your
it's 1 o'clock
live streaming data. Sorry about that. So you have a live streaming data, so from there you can ingest that. Now the Lambda I was talking about the Lambda architecture. Now your Lambda architecture is the path, that's a host path you create with the real-time analysis, and you process the data with the streaming analytics, and then there is another from the data factory. You create Azure data lake storage, like that's a Gen 2. Now why I'm using a Gen 2 and Gen 1, so that's another tutorial video I have, like what are the different Azure storage I have. So for that you can refer another tutorial video for that. We have the Azure Synapses. Now Synapses is a kind of a different thing. I will talk about that in a later. Now process the data. When you store the data in the Azure data lake is one of the most kind of a common data storage we have in Azure. So from there we connect to our Databricks. Databricks is like you use your PySpark to process your data, and you can you can use different kind of machine learning libraries over there, and then you can have your machine learning. So I was talking about the machine learning libraries. So you have a cognitive machine learning platform over here. Now this machine learning platform, it's a kind of an automated platform. You have a studio, and then you have a drag and drop, and also you can spin off your Jupyter notebook with the compute clusters and all. So you can also do that. I was talking about this one. This one has the 3 options. You have a drag and drop. That's a classic ML Studio. Then you have your kind of a drag and drop, and then you have your automated ML, and then you can also use your spin off your Jupyter notebook, and they can connect your Databricks. That option is also there. So these are the 3-4 options you have over here. Database is completely very reliable, very fast. You can use your PySpark over there, and it can be very reliable, very trustworthy. Its performance is very smooth. I have been using it for a long time, so I prefer Databricks over Jupyter notebooks and all. And PySpark is really very fast. So please try to spin off a Jupyter notebook and try to use these services. You can create a simple data platform, and then you can ingest your data, load the data into the event hub, or not even event hub is not possible. Then you can create a data ingestion pipeline from your traditional databases like SQL and PostgreSQL, and create a data factory. From data factory you can create your data lake storage. Like you have a different layers of the data, like the raw, layer, the stage layer, mart layer. So all these layers are there. So depending on your naming convention of your organization, you can create those layers. Now you process the data. Once the data is a process, like what you can do is that you can connect your Power BI with the APIs, and then you can connect your Cosmos DB and also your Power BI. The Power BI is one of the things, like after you have your output and all, your output is mostly stored in a CSV or JSON format, and whatever format your output is stored, then you connect your output with your Power BI, and then you can do the analytics for your business stakeholders and all. So yeah, so also you can create an app inside. So, okay, you have all those services. You can create an app inside. You can do the analysis. You can do the analysis of your Power BI log reports, and also you have all those things. So you can do that. Now what I can over here is this slide talks about your uh, this slides talk about your kind of the structured, unstructured data, semi-structured data, and how do you create a load in the data factory, and from there your data lake storage, and how do you connect your Hadoop and Spark. This is for your big data platform. Like when the size of the data is pretty high, when you have the data is a kind of real-time analysis you're doing. So for that, this is the architecture which I'm referring about. Yes. Now this Hadoop ecosystem is very simple. You have HDI inside, and then from HDI inside you can connect your Spark, you can connect your Hive table, you can do the HBase, and you can have yet another resource manager in Hadoop. Kafka is anyways there, and then you can create the Apache Storm, Zookeeper, and all those things are there. So you can always integrate your Azure with the Hadoop ecosystem. So I'll talk about that in my next slide. Um, yeah. So over here your IoT data processing, like see most of the um, uh, the IoT devices, the sensors we use in the cars or watches and all kind of IoT devices, you have a streaming platform. So for that you can have your Azure gateway services, and your IoT hubs is integrated with your Azure VNet boundary. Now Azure VNet boundary is nothing but it's a kind of an integration platform with your Kafka, the big data platform. That big data platform is an open source platform over here, and Azure HDI inside it's like I'm processing my open source streaming platform with Azure inside. So you have your Kafka, Apache Storm, and Spark integrated with my VNet, and they're connected with the Azure gateway, like IoT devices and apps. So we are pulling up all the data, real-time financial records and fraud detection. So all the financial records, the customer transactions, banking transactions, the per clicks, and all those things, website data, and all those things. And I'm pulling up the data and storing in the Kafka and Apache Storm, and then we are processing the data to the Spark libraries and all. They have the machine learning libraries over there, and then we can do the real-time application analysis. We can create a long-term storage platform, and then we can create our Power BI integration with the dashboards, and all those things are pretty much simple. So IoT processing is also not a big deal over here, so we can do that. Now coming to the data storage, we have an all-premise of the cloud. You have a data factory, data ingestions. That's nothing else, data ingestion. Then you have an Azure blob storage. Blob storage is like your data store which you have. Then you can integrate with your R, Spark, or MapReduce, and all those things and then you can collect your machine learning libraries and all. The machine learning libraries can also be integrated with the Spark. So that option we also have. And then for the final end-to-end analytics, you can use the Power BI. This is nothing but this is your Microsoft Azure monitors. Like you can monitor your app. Like once you have the final model is built, you're good with the training and testing platform is done. You're good to go. Now you're deploying your model with the Flask framework or Django framework if you're using a Python. So what you can do is that you can create the different alerts for you to monitor your Jira with your Azure monitoring. So that you can do here. And this is about Jira, like how you can kind of integrate your Jira and all. This is a common data model which you're gonna talk about, which you're gonna generally use. This is a kind of we use. We can. This is a core data model we have. We can have the sales data, services, finance, all these data models we have, like from human resource, different data functions, and how we can kind of dynamic 360 model the data. Now over here is a big data referential architecture we have. Like we have a high volume of data acquisitions. This is nothing but this is an operational data. How we connect the data, internal data, external data. How we can going to integrate with them. What is my data processing, and what are the traditional cloud system I'm using, or databases I'm using. This talks about nothing else. All those things. You have a high volume of the data. Now you did multi-storage data. You can create a low latency data processing. This mostly depends on your operational data. You can do it in the public cloud. Create your managed services. You have your private hosted. All those things you can create. You can have your performance strategy for your intelligence processing and all. Optimization, regulation. You can do all those things. How do you create once you create a data warehousing architecture. So those are the things. Now this is nothing but this is a kind of a system generated, it's a kind of system process, how what are the different processes you're creating for your data, like there are different processes are there. So we don't need to follow all those things, but it's good to go. We can create the different hierarchical reports and integration layers, all the layers, like step by step, like how you clean the data, and those things also come into the picture. But I haven't used those things as of now. Yeah. Now, common data model to optimize our Azure data log storage Gen 2. So I was talking about the Gen 2. Now, what I can do is that we can create a CDM, customer insight, Dynamic 3. All these apps can be integrated for the decision making. And then we have on Azure IoT devices and Azure Synapses. For the Synapses and IoT, I have created a separate tutorial video, so you can just have a look at them. Now, this is our Azure data lake storage. This is our data lake storage and all. Yeah, this is the data lake storage and all. Yeah. So that's all, nothing else. That's good to go. So if you have any questions, you can drop me messages. I'll get back to you. All right then, thanks for the day.